did or did not do as a team member.
Conditioning of these young players should take care of itself through the practice of these fundamental techniques. By making practices fun, you will ensure that the kids will put forth the effort to develop these basic skills. Be aware that each player will have a different rate of development, and no player should be pushed too hard. Injuries can and do occur. As a coach or trainer, you should be aware of the basics of injury care. A good way is to remember the letters R-I-C-E. If a player has an injury, it should be treated with rest, ice, compression, and elevation. Most injuries can be treated by wrapping the injured area with some type of compression, such as an ace bandage. Ice should then be applied for approximately 15 to 20 minutes, and the injury should be elevated. Of course, all injuries should be evaluated by a physician and proper steps taken to ensure a full recovery. While practicing the lay-in, one person can develop his or her own skills by concentrating on the fundamentals. Younger players should develop their strong hand from both sides of the basket. With more players, you can form lines and practice rebounding and passing along with the lay-ins. Again, you can work on shooting alone. Concentrate on the basics and stay close to the basket so bad habits are not developed by throwing the ball. By watching groups of shooters from under the basket, coaches can make sure the players are in proper position with the ball, elbow and knee in almost a straight line. From the side, he can see if a player is leaning forward or backward on the shot, and also watch for good release and follow-through. The young player needs to learn to dribble without looking at the ball, and then to change hands, remembering not to let the ball come more than waist high. A good drill for dribbling and defense is to have one player dribble as another mirrors his action while practicing his defensive positioning. On defense, remember not to reach in, stay low, and never cross the legs while sliding from side to side. Starting out, a player needs to work on his passing technique. They can begin with a chest pass to get the footwork of stepping forward and pushing off. Practice receiving the ball by bringing it to the chest as soon as possible. The overhead pass can be practiced in the same manner. Then you can incorporate movement from side to side, reminding the players to block and tuck as they receive the ball. This two-player drill will help improve passing as well as rebounding. A player passes the ball to the wing, goes to the basket, receives a pass back, and lays the ball off the backboard, rebounds, and passes back to the wing. The players change positions and continue the drill. In this three-player drill, you have two players on one side of the basket with the ball and a player on the opposite side. The first player tosses the ball off the backboard to the other side and rotates to that side as the rebound is tossed over again. This rotation continues as each player practices rebound position. Remember, rebounding does not take great jumping ability. It's a matter of quickness and position.
We've tried to give you an idea of the basic fundamentals of the game of basketball. And to do anything well, we must have a solid foundation. And you can't have a solid foundation without knowing and being able to not only properly, but quickly execute the fundamentals of the game. My idea of success, as a matter of fact, my definition of success is peace of mind, which can be attained only through self-satisfaction in knowing that you made the effort to do the best that you're capable of doing. Whenever you can do that, you're going to be real happy, and it's going to be a lot of fun.